If you're a trade or construction business and you've hired an agency or someone to do SEO on your website and you're not quite seeing results, what I'm going to do today is walk you through everything you need to see with as little technical background as possible to see if the SEO is actually working or if you're just being taken for a ride. So what I'm going to do today is go through not only the reports you might be receiving from these companies, but also go through the actual back end of the website to see what's actually happening and how you could actually see whether it's working or not. The goal of this video is to educate you as the business owner to decide whether or not SEO is actually working with the current provider that you have, or if maybe you need to seek out someone else that is actually going to get you results. Quick side note here. SEO does take time. You typically do not see results until after 3 to 6 months, then you start seeing the needle move. If you are not seeing the needle move after 3 to 6 months, then something is definitely going wrong and it needs to be investigated. On another side note, if you are spending less than $1,000 or even $1,500 per month on SEO, you are not getting SEO. You might be getting some technical things done on your website, but in terms of SEO, there's a lot of factors that go into SEO. Your domain, the backlinks you have, the words on the website, the way it's laid out, the user interface. There are so many things that go into SEO, and unfortunately it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of hours, and therefore people should be charging at least $2,000 to $3,000 minimum to do SEO because there's so much work involved. So if you're spending less than that, chances are you're not getting the full benefits of SEO, and it's probably outlined somewhere in your contract. Now, if we actually go through this report step by step and actually go through some of the backend systems, you'll have a much better idea of what's going on. Now here, number of page one rankings over time, I wouldn't really trust this because we need to see the actual data that is going on the back end of the website. Now, I've worked for an SEO company, and I'm not going to say how common this practice is, but it is very common to alter these reports to make them look a lot better than what they actually are. I'm not going to say how common it is, but it absolutely does happen to make sure that the client is happy and they keep paying the agency rather than actually getting a real result. So this graph here, I wouldn't trust it for anything. Now, on the actual keywords themselves, you've got the keywords here on the left-hand side. Now, you probably chose these keywords, or maybe the agency did. Doesn't matter. These are the keywords that they're showing in the report, and therefore these are the keywords they're actually working on doing SEO for. Now, here on the baseline, this is probably where you were ranking before they started. This is the current page that you're on. This is the current position that you're in. This is the change over the last 30 days. And this is the lifetime change overall. And this is the actual URL that you are ranking for that specific keyword. Now, the very, very, very first thing I want to do is actually grab some of these keywords and see how much volume these keywords are actually getting. Because if there's not a lot of volume for these keywords, I'm not going to say there's no point in running SEO for them, but you want to be targeting keywords that actually have some volume. If these keywords have zero volume, how many searches are you actually going to get for this keyword that's actually going to benefit your business? So if we start putting some of these keywords in, by the way, this is Google Ads Keyword Planner. So all you want to do, if you don't already have Google Ads, is sign up for Google Ads at ads.google.com. You can create an account for free. And over here on the left-hand side, if you go to Tools and then Keyword Planner, you can use the Keyword Planner for free instead of paying for some SEO software. So all you want to do is put in the keywords that are in the report, set your target location to where the client is based. In this case, it's New Zealand. You can target it even further and put down the actual city, but this is a national company, so we'll just go New Zealand. And now we'll get the results. So you can see here on the actual keywords that we're targeting, water blasting Hamilton, 20 searches a month. Commercial roof washing, 50 searches a month. So that's not bad. Solar cleaning services, 10 average searches a month. That means there is not a huge volume for these specific keywords. So I would just look through all the keywords throughout the report and see if it's even worth ranking for. Because if all these keywords, if they all have only 10 searches a month, it's not really worth it. You're better off going for some keywords that have hundreds of searches a month. If you actually rank number one for those, you'd get a lot more clicks to your website. I'm not saying that having keywords with low volumes is bad, but you do want some keywords that are more competitive and have more volume to actually support it. Because it's great ranking number one for these keywords, but just remember, there are better keywords that might be better suited for your business. So look through all of these keywords and make sure you are actually happy with these keywords, because if all of them have 10 searches, it's not worth it. Now that we've had a look at the keywords and how much volume they're getting, now you want to look at the actual current position that they're in. You want to be doing this at the time you get the report. So if you have a report from 6 months ago, I wouldn't trust it. I would trust the report you've got most recently. Now this is a bit of an old report, but what I want to do essentially is look up water blasting Hamilton on Google, specifically where you are, and see if you are actually in position 4 at the time of getting the report. Because if you're not in position 4 or you're nowhere near it, that means something on this report has been altered and it's not working properly. So I would manually look up these keywords on Google to see where you actually sit, and that is by far the most accurate result. Now, the report does have a whole bunch of other fancy metrics on it, but to be honest, you don't need to trust it. It's not worth it. So let's go on to the next stage. If we go to Google Search Console, and by the way, you should have access to Google Search Console. So if you go to search.google.com, and if you put your website here, it'll actually show you all the results you've got from SEO. So these are all impressions and clicks you got from Google search itself, so you can filter out to see what's actually happening. So here is an overview. We can see that over the past few months, it's a little flat. It's not necessarily rising. If I go to another account that is doing SEO, you can see how consistent the results are with the amount of clicks and impressions that we're getting. And you sort of want this to just be a steady line going up. So on the left-hand side here, if you just go to performance, and what I've done is I've put in the range of when that report was sent after 12 months, you can see here, it's pretty stagnant. The amount of impressions and clicks, sometimes we're getting a bit more, but to be honest, it's not really rising. Only up until the very end, we started getting more impressions, but we still weren't getting too many clicks. You see the clicks haven't actually risen, and our average position is 40. Now that doesn't matter too much, but it's the average position you have on all your keywords. So all we have to do is just scroll down a little bit, and what you'll find is the top 4 searches that are literally getting us hundreds of searches out of the total 1,500 clicks. More than half of them came from our own brand. So those keywords automatically don't count, because you should rank number 1 automatically for your own brand. So these keywords, completely disregard it. It doesn't matter. Here, if we go roof cleaning Christchurch, we're in position 12 on average. Position 12 isn't very good. Position 12 is not even the first page of Google. That's the second page of Google. So if we go to this keyword, roof cleaning Christchurch, and we find it on the report, you can see here the report was quite accurate. So we are actually in position 11, which is great. Again, we've got more keywords for our actual brand name. House washing Auckland. Now, we've got 3,500 impressions where someone saw our listing, but we only got 7 clicks. House washing Auckland would be such a great keyword to actually be number 1 for, but we're in position 33. That's the third page of Google. And after 12 months of doing SEO, you'd expect to be somewhere on the first page of Google for that main keyword. Now, unfortunately, when I put up house washing Auckland, it is nowhere to be found in this report. And house washing Auckland, if we just look up that keyword and see how many searches we're getting for that one keyword, that's very valuable to our business. There's 1,000 searches a month for that keyword, but we're not even targeting it in our report or our SEO. And that would be the best keyword to actually target. So automatically, that's not a great start. So this entire first page is just keywords for our own brand, and I'm not going to count those. Gutter cleaning Auckland, another great keyword. We're in position 49, meaning we're on page 5, and we're not getting any clicks for that keyword. And it looks like we are targeting that keyword. It has been targeted accurately because it says we're in position 47, but this keyword, we're not moving on it. And this is something that we actually want to be targeting. If we go here again, and get gutter cleaning Auckland, 880 searches. That is a lot of searches that could be valuable for our business, but we're not actually ranking for it. Roof cleaning, another great keyword, but I can guarantee that we are not actually getting anything for this keyword. So this keyword by itself, we're not actually targeting. Sorry, my bad. We are actually targeting this keyword, but nothing, we've got no results for this keyword, even though it would be a great keyword for our business. So you can tell here, going by the most clicks we've got to our website, you go down this list and you start to realize you're not actually getting any clicks for your website from Google SEO. So the SEO is not quite working here. And if you just go down this list, you'll find very quickly that the keywords you want to be ranking for, you're not actually ranking for. If we go here and sort it by positions, you can see all the things we're ranking number 1 for, are our own brand, but the only thing we're actually ranking semi-decent for is commercial high-pressure cleaning. So if we go here and find how many searches that's even getting, it's 10. It's not enough. 10 is just not enough. If we keep going, building exterior clean Auckland, we're ranked number 2, but we've only got 12 impressions. How is that possible? Well, it's because this is a very low volume keyword. Low volume keywords are no good to us. We need something that has a little more volume to it so that we can actually see some sort of result. So building exterior clean, no data, meaning there's basically no searches for that whatsoever. Pressure wash, again, we're ranking high for it, but there's nothing coming through. Car park water blasting, that is actually a fairly decent keyword. We're ranked number 2, 45 searches, no clicks. So if you go through this actual report, you'll find very quickly we're not getting a lot of searches for the keywords that we actually want. And if you keep going, just have a look at all these keywords and see what's actually happening in the background. Now, if we go to Google Analytics, we can actually see where the traffic has come from for our entire website. So what you want to do, go to analytics.google.com. You want to click here on your accounts and click on the account that you actually have. And if you don't have access to this, you can very well ask your agency for access so that you can actually see this data for yourself. If we go to the reports section here and we go to engagement and events, you should have your events set up so that you can actually see form submissions and phone leads. And if we just set the date to the same date as the report, March to March, we can see here that it's done quite well. We've got 1,600 phone calls and less than 1,000 actual form leads. Now we've actually got contact as well and contact form submission. I'm not sure if these are double tracking, but you should very well be tracking your phone calls and form submissions from your website. But what I want to actually look at is the acquisition, and we want to look at the traffic acquisition so we can see where the traffic came from on our website using the date range. So here what we'll see, and the only one you want to see, is organic search. This is the amount of people that came to our website from Google search and therefore from the SEO work that was done to our website. And you can see here, it was a very mere 10%. So most of our traffic actually came from paid ads and cross-network. They did not come from organic search. And you can see here the key events. Now, I'm not sure if this was set up correctly, but even the key events, we're only getting 8% of our total leads from SEO. 8% is not a lot. If you look at here, 56% came from paid ads and 25% came from cross-network. So the amount of actual revenue that we're making from SEO is only 8%. After a year of doing SEO, spending over $4,000 per month on SEO, you should very well be getting a lot more leads than just 193. 193 divided by the actual total investment that these guys made, it doesn't make sense, especially for a house washing company. That's going to do it for this video. If you have any more questions regarding SEO and how to look at more data just like this to see if SEO is working for your business, feel free to leave a comment in the description below, and I'm more than happy to actually answer it.